Wait, do you ever get disappointed when you're showing someone something for the first time and you really want them to get it? And
No,
they
not
don't?
at all. I think
Yes.
Oh.
Matt knew exactly where I was
Absolutely.
going with that question.
I'm clearly an Eeyore.
I'm probably Rue.
I'm a Christopher Robin with a Pooh Rising.
And then I get in a canoe and I'm like, Clairs don't like canoes.
No, they don't.
I'm afraid of this lake.
That's exactly what it was.
Ow.
It was a beautiful moment in our friendship. I was
literally in the middle of getting her up and down the
Pathetic.
stairs. Ow. I was like, I'm trying to get my hair done. I'm like, God.
I don't think that's an accurate representation of my owl.
Well, you were in such pain you couldn't see clearly. So,
Trauma.
Thank you for listening to the Last Will podcast. I'm Matt Young. I'm a theater educator and a parent. And ever since I lost my father to cancer, I have been mildly obsessed with death. This is my last will and testament. Mahatma Gandhi once said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Today's episode is all about support. Hey, it's just me and Claire this week. No cold open. I don't know why. I don't know. I just haven't been loving it, so I went back to the old way that things are being done. Hey, look. Hey, if you like the cold open, then drop us a line. Send us a little note and tell us that you want us to bring back the cold open. But for now, we're going to just go back to the old way that things were done. I like the pastoral music. And I hope that you enjoy Claire and I in our discussion about support.
Okay.
All right.
Wow,
Yeah.
we did like a whole hour and 20 minutes of pre-briefing.
Yeah.
That's not a thing, actually.
No, we had to pre-brief. We've been pre-briefing for every podcast that we've ever done. There's a pre-briefingness that is important. We got to get it out before we got to get the names and the situations and our grievances. We got to get them out.
Yeah. Well, also, I didn't see you last week, so
That's true.
it's been a while. I got up early last Sunday to start the purge, one of the great purges of the year, which is probably the only one of the purges I've done in several years.
Right. So you say it's in the year, but it's really the moving purge.
Well, and I've learned, like, for me, because I have a little like allergy sensitivity to like dust and dirt.
I have an allergy sensitivity to purging and cleaning.
I should have taken Zyrtec that morning, and I didn't.
Oh no.
And like halfway through the day, I was like, I need to lie down.
Aren't you
too
slightly
much.
allergic to cats too?
Yeah. But the stuff that was in my room at the time was mostly like
Was not cats.
not cats. The cats don't like sleep on the papers that were sitting in the boxes that were under the dresser and under the this
That's
and under the that.
surprising because that's what cats usually do.
They wouldn't be able to fit in there.
Oh.
Yeah. We're talking like stuff stuffed into other stuff into other things.
And how's the purge going?
If you went into my bedroom, you wouldn't really notice that anything's been done, but actually, it's a massive improvement. I'm looking at 2 more major purging areas. One is my closet. The other is my bathroom.
What was the hardest thing to throw out so far?
Ooh.
What was the thing that gave you the most pause that you were like, I got to come back to this one. I got to think, oh no, I got to get rid of it.
Oh my God, that's a hard one.
Oh, okay. There wasn't something that blaring that says that you had to have gotten rid of it, but you wanted to hold on to
Well,
it.
I'll tell you what I refuse to throw away.
Okay.
Is letters and cards for my friends.
I like that though. That makes sense. Those are things that are worth holding on to, as opposed to like, I don't know, old wrapping paper that you got on a gift.
Oh shit! Don't bring that up.
Oh no.
My storage unit has Christmas, like a whole garbage bag full of like Christmas wrap.
Is it used or is it
It's
new?
like tissue that I like I don't know when I put it in there. Well, obviously, it was like 6-ish years ago, but I was like, this is tissue that I will reuse. And now it's 6 years later, and I'm like,
You haven't reused it.
I haven't reused it because I forgot it was there. And now I'm like, it's literally just like bags. Like people would give me something in a bag.
Yeah.
And then I would save the whole bag with the tissue in it. And I'm like, I think I got to throw this out.
Throw it out.
But then
Did you throw it out?
Then actually, it's still in my storage
Throw
unit.
it out.
Okay.
Throw it out. Throw it out because you haven't needed it. You found other tissue in your life. You know, there's new tissue that comes into your life.
That's
Sometimes you got to move on from the old
Unfortunately,
tissue.
our world is full of waste, so they just keep making shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I could throw it away and I could buy it again.
You could burn it, or you could use it as TP. It's a little scratchy. It's a little scratchy.
Imagine if I use the tissue, the Christmas tissue that's been sitting in my storage unit for 6.5 years, and I use it to wipe my ass.
Claire, can I use your bathroom? Sure.
What
The
color
TP's in
would
the
you
in the
like?
Christmas bag.
Don't
Yeah.
use that one. It's got glitter on it. We all know that glitter sticks to Matt.
Yes, I will have glitter on my tush forever.
No, I actually I have one friend who lives in Stratford, and is it okay to
Upon
say?
Avon.
Oh yeah,
Stratford upon
upon
Avon.
Avon. And she writes me letters, or she wrote me letters a lot during the pandemic. We were like pen pals. It was really cute. And so I every now and then I would like turn around and I'd be like, oh, what's this cute piece of paper? I'd open it and it was a letter from her. And then I did actually throw away one of her letters, and it's only because she mentioned something in there that was
She's like, the Nazis aren't so bad, and you're like, I gotta throw this one away.
it referenced something that was happening in her life at the time, and soon after that letter, something came crashing down.
Oh,
So I threw it away because I didn't want to keep it as a reminder to have her
Of
maybe
that thing.
look at it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't want her to see it and be like, oh, well, remember that. And then wow.
I had a whole box of what I thought were like love letters, or just their letters from girls over the years and stuff like that. And there were a couple love letters in there, but most of them were just like friend letters. I mean, real, well thought out, very nice friend letters that I think I kept as if they were love letters.
This is crazy. I mean, in some of the stuff that I refused to throw away, I found pen pal letters from the 3rd grade. We had like a pen pal program.
A pen pal program.
Yeah, like
Nice.
we actually had another school that we wrote letters to.
I feel like this sounds very familiar to something that happened to me in elementary school.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound it sounds like a program that makes sense.
And honestly, you probably
Whatever that
wouldn't
means.
remember it unless you came across the letters that you saved.
And you
Like
you saved
me.
them?
I saved them. I came across them and I saved them. And here I have, for some reason, I think because I was a little bit, I was a good writer at the time. They gave me 2 pen pals. So I had 2 people to keep track of. And this one is from David. And it says this: Dear Claire, I'm back. I just came back from my long ski trip on winter vacation. My sisters tried snowboarding for the first time. They did pretty well. I was skiing the North Face, which is all black diamonds. This kid is 8, by the way.
Oh, jeez.
My sisters couldn't go because they had to stay on the lower of the mountain with their snowboards. We had a really big blizzard, so the next day it was very powdery. I did lots of moguls that day because moguls are better in powder. I imagine
Fucking braggart.
what? I had probably no idea what this guy was talking about.
No, I would imagine you didn't. I
I
still am
I hope you had a nice Christmas.
confused.
Well, I had a nice Hanukkah.
Oh,
I don't celebrate Christmas. These are the things I got: a sports menorah. Oh,
what a sports menorah?
fun.
I don't even know what that means.
A camera with binoculars.
Okay.
A Scooby-Doo t-shirt, handmade metal soldiers, battleship, gloves, 2 Beanie Babies, a scooter sled, a CD, a launching rocket, and Sony PlayStation. Right back soon.
8th day.
This
That's
guy-
8th day present. First of all, let's count those presents. Is there 8? Because it feels like, they're
more.
not doing Hanukkah the right way.
All right. Sports menorah,
1.
camera with binoculars.
Wait, that's 2 in 1, but I'll count it as 1.
Scooby-Doo t-shirt.
Yep, 3.
handmade metal soldiers.
4.
How many of soldiers don't know?
No, we'll call it one thing though.
Battleship, which is in capital letters.
5.
Gloves.
6.
2 Beanie Babies.
7.
A scooter sled.
8.
A CD.
9.
A launching rocket.
10.
And a Sony PlayStation.
11.
Sony PlayStation counts as like 5 gifts.
No, because the way Hanukkah works is you get a big gift on the last night.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you get like normal things. You get like socks and a book and maybe a couple Beanie Babies. But on the last day, that's when they deliver the big G.I. Joe aircraft carrier. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Somebody was a spoiled little Jewish boy. I was. Yes, I was.
Well, we could tear this guy apart. I'm going to Google him later because his full name and his picture are on the bottom of this letter.
Oh.
And then I have one from a girl, which I won't read because we'll...
Well, I just, look, I know
Hers is
he's supposed to
probably way
talk.
better.
He's talking about the things that have happened to him, but it feels just like he's bragging and making you feel bad. I went skiing. I went on the Black Diamond. We had a great vacation. What if you just stayed home?
That's what I did.
What if you, I don't know.
I never went skiing.
shopping for a homeless family and gave them a meal, like homeless. How you
like
sent
nice
to a homeless?
people, like
No.
really what Christmas is about. Well, he's Jewish though, so
Right,
he didn't.
right.
That makes sense.
No, well, my father used to every year. He used to buy a full maybe it was Thanksgiving. He used to buy like a full Thanksgiving meal, and deliver it to a family in need. I guess through some sort of program.
I
or
gotta
whatever.
get on something.
Some charity?
like that. I don't know what the heck I'm doing.
You're not giving back.
I'm not giving back. I gotta start giving back.
We used to think just
I have to give back for me.
Yes, that's the way charity
I
works.
have to
I got to
do
give
it
back for me.
to make myself feel better.
No, I mean that's definitely part of it, but it's only part of it. They really should donate. I like to donate to local theaters. Usually, I like to donate to the rival theater of the high school that I used to work at. That's what I did.
Oh my God!
They had a giving day, and I'm like, happily, I'll send you money.
That's so funny.
And the other one, who I also saw a thing, they needed money too. I'm like, nope, I'm not supporting you. No, thank you.
I am just so looking forward to this time in my life where I will everything's going to quiet down. I'm going to really have some times to think about what it is I want to hone in on. Like the stuff that I'm going through in my purging is I've discovered I've saved all of my journals.
Yes.
All of them. I think I threw 2 of them out that were empty and they were childish and they had locks that didn't work anymore. So
we could have got those locks open, Claire.
I have the keys.
Okay.
But they wouldn't stay closed.
I'm sorry. Did you throw them out? Is that what you said?
I did. And you know why I threw them out?
The deep level of disappointment.
No. And here's why.
All right.
Some of them shit talk my sister, and
Oh.
I didn't want anyone to come across that.
Okay.
Which I literally just said it on air.
But
so
no, but at the time, obviously, you needed to do some shit talking,
and
it doesn't mean that
you
don't love her.
There's plenty of shit talking in the other journals. And
Yes.
in case anyone, I mean, first of all, I talked to my sister about it the other day. She was like, "Well, you have to save all your journals. It's your intellectual property," which made it sound so important.
Yeah.
So, but my point is that I've come across so many old writings, journals, old college papers, and I'm like, there was a time in my life that I wanted to write more.
Yeah.
And I think I need to start
Writing more?
refocusing on things that I really wanted to do earlier in my life that I didn't get a chance to do. Because I've gotten so
I think that's
busy,
all right. Yeah.
and I want to just get quiet and refocus.
All of that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I don't think you come to that realization without the great purge of 2025.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, people, if you've noticed, but it's just Claire and I today.
Wait, where's Grady?
Oh, he's here.
His backpack is sitting there.
Do you want to say anything, Grady? Grady?
Turn his mic on.
Grady. We're having technical difficulties. Grady's mic, it's just not working. So if he has something to say, he'll just nod or something. No? Okay. And
That's fine.
so it's just Claire and I. And we have talked for a while without even getting to welcoming you
Oh, sorry.
or telling you what the topic is. Although, does this all connect? I think it probably does all connect. Anyways, welcome to the Last Will podcast. It's
Hi.
so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming back. We appreciate that. We try to give you material all the time, but sometimes it doesn't happen that way. But we're going to try to be a little
Yes,
bit more
we do.
consistent. Well, I didn't. There was a missing episode last week, and I should just send out old episodes.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Well, not everybody's been listening to every episode when it airs.
That's true. I mean, this
Yeah.
is like our 77th episode.
That's so many episodes.
Yeah, we've done this a lot. Although I see other podcasts and they have like 400 and something episodes. So
Really?
maybe it's not.
See, I
but
thought-
it's years of stuff.
I
years
thought
of
like
stuff.
this was a lot. Like I thought. I mean, I'm not a podcast listener or watcher or listener.
You can do both. You can do
so
both.
I actually thought that we had a lot for average.
I think some podcasts deliver 2 episodes a week.
Oh.
Some do it once a week. Some do once a month. Some, longer ones. Like I really like Hardcore History. And Hardcore History, that guy works on it for like months and months. So maybe you get a new episode every 6 months.
Does he get paid for it?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay.
he's too good to not get paid.
Okay.
Anyways, today we're going to talk about support. Support is the topic for discussion. So should we get to the definition?
Support is how I feel in this chair that I'm sitting in.
Claire has got a new chair.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it specifically for her, but she's definitely getting the benefits. And I will not... I won't say that I didn't think about her when I bought the chair, but I kind of thought that I would get the chair and she would get the old one, but it didn't really work out that way.
Well, I'm not here that often. And I mean, like every other week ish.
Yeah,
And you have a great chair and you can sit in this chair when I'm not here.
that's true.
But I have to say, the chair has enhanced my experience.
I would imagine.
I mean, like I was saying before, I can fully cross my legs. I've got cushion. I'm not squirming as much in the seat.
And if you wanted to, there's a vibration feature. But we don't use that. It's
No.
pluggable in. I guess there's a
It's pluggable in.
yeah, it's pluggable in. And there's a footrest feature too.
There is?
Yeah. Although I haven't been able to pull it.
Yeah, let's not.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
won't.
All
I
right.
won't make it
All
back.
right. Support refers to the act of providing assistance, encouragement, or reinforcement to someone or something. It can manifest in various forms, including emotional support, offering empathy and compassion to help someone cope with stress or challenges. Struggling with that one, am I? From our discussion before the pod. Physical support, providing tangible help, such as lifting or holding something up. Technical support, assisting users in technology-related issues or problems. Financial support, providing monetary assistance to individuals, organizations, or projects. Or legal support, offering guidance or representation in legal matters. Overall support involves helping others or sustaining structures, systems, or ideas in meaningful ways. I think we're mostly about emotional support here. I don't think we should do a podcast on technical support
Or legal support.
or legal support. I do offer technical support at my job often, and that's probably not... I'm probably not the best person to go to for
I
that.
hate offering technical support.
Neither of us should ever talk about financial support because we are spenders.
We need financial support.
Yeah, so anybody out there wants to lend some financial support to Claire and I,
Let us know. Send
yeah.
your Venmos.
So, emotional support. I'm a big believer in therapy, which we'll do a whole episode on that soon enough. But, like, I don't know if you're like this, but I thrive in being a support for my friends and people I'm closest to. I feel selfishly very, very good about stepping up when my friends need me the most. Even though our conversation before may contradict that, but I find that it's something that I not that I look forward to, but like
It's fulfilling.
yes,
When you talk about, actually, we talk about this a lot in recovery. It's recovery, unity, and service. So service is a huge component to your healing process. Now, people who have spent a lot of years drinking have forgotten about service. Let's just, for example, not everyone, but for me, for example, learning how to give back was kind of a wake-up call. I was like, wait a minute. I have only been taking and taking and taking and wanting to take and looking for things to take for years. How is the world going to serve Claire? Instead of how is Claire going to serve the world and her community? And learning how to give, how to provide service, meaning how can I help the next person who needs to overcome their drinking addiction? Or how can I, and the reason for that is to help get you out of your own way and out of your own mind, so you can help somebody, and helping somebody else helps you.
Right.
Which is when I joked about like giving back around like the holidays. Like it's time for me to provide service for me. You know, I was mostly joking, but there is something, it's a little self-fulfilling. There's like it could fill that void that you have to give back.
Yeah.
Because when you give, you do receive.
I've often said to my students, when they're like, this is boring or I'm bored, I say, boredom is on you. Put your focus on somebody else. Put your focus on your partner, and then you'll stop thinking about your immediate need to be entertained or satisfied in the moment. And I think that runs parallel to what you were just saying, which is like when you're in service to someone else, you're not putting the focus on yourself. You're forced to put it on somebody else.
And it has to be altruistically. Like,
yes.
It can't be, I'm doing this
and only service to yourself.
Right. Just so that I can feel good, because then it won't work.
Right.
You know, and I get into that pickle sometimes when I'm like, when I don't like what somebody's doing and I want them to change it because it's annoying me.
Yeah.
And I try to make it look like I'm trying to help them.
Yeah.
But it's so convoluted. Technical support, let's say. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to do this so you can stop bothering me about it.
Right. It's so interesting. I think that's probably a trap often, is pretending to be in service of someone else, really just being in service of yourself. I mean, I've often talked about the gift giving thing, whereas like I know it brings me joy to give gifts to other people to help them be seen, but like there's a selfish component to it. You know, I'm definitely making myself feel better by making somebody else feel good. And so maybe there's a problem in that I've never kind of cracked the can of worms. What?
Cracked the code?
Cracked the door code, something on that.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that when I try to stop, you know, I say this is what, you know, when usually your friends are in trouble, like this is what friends like gear up for. I think it's a line from Aaron Sorkin. I think it's from Sports Night. Like something goes bad and they're like, you know, you're not gonna be abandoned. This is what friends gear up for. And I love that idea. And so when my friends really need me, I feel like we don't run away. But that runs parallel to my own experience, right? So I felt abandoned so many times when I was at my lowest, when I was struggling the most. And so in making sure that people don't feel the way that I feel, I always try to be there for support in every way that I can. But there's a selfishness to that.
Well, and also I've also learned that people don't think the way that I think. So,
that's so true.
Which is a really right? Simple statement, but it really speaks volumes to me when your experience, like let's say you've had the experience of feeling abandoned by friendships in your life.
Yes. Hypothetically, wink, wink.
Hypothetically.
Wink, honk, honk, honk.
And so because you've had that experience, you think that somebody else, you want to save somebody else from having that same experience.
Yes.
So you're going to try and be a great friend
Yes.
to everybody,
Everybody.
everyone. Now, which is amazing, except what it does is it kind of creates a weird psychology within you, because then you think if people aren't accepting your friendship, then they don't love you back.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Which is not which might not be true for them.
But it may be true.
But Matt,
But it may be true.
well,
But it may be
the
true.
The point,
Claire, it may be true.
The point is that my experience with friendships is different from your experience with friendships, and
Yeah, we have totally different issues,
right.
but we have issues
Well,
with
sure,
friends.
for sure.
Why haven't we done Friends Part 2?
I know we should. Whereas I actually like to keep people at arm's length.
Yeah.
And it's almost because I have experienced abandonment in friendships, and I'm like, okay, well, because I've experienced that, I'm just going to not get close with people.
Right. And I just pull them in and try to suffocate them.
And then when it becomes disappointing,
Yeah.
then you're hurt. Whereas I've tried to protect myself from the hurt by isolating myself.
Just staying in a constant level of hurt. I'll just never get close to anybody.
I don't know why. I guess the point is that, like, we can't assume, like, we live in our own bubbles, right? Our mind has created our own personal universe.
Yeah, yeah.
And communication and friendships and relationships with people are really incredible if you think about it, because we're able to combine our universes to create, like, maybe a little universe bubble.
Right.
Like think about this podcast right now, like this session that we're having, like
Okay.
your world and my world, totally different, but we're able to share a living room. Not literally, but we do literally.
It's a metaphorical
right,
living room.
but I'm thinking,
because
like,
I went very literal there. I
Yeah.
was like, of course
we're in
here.
a living room.
No. I totally get what you're
It's
you're
like
saying.
our bubbles are combining a little bit, like a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
So we're in that middle space together.
It's like kind of like why marriages are a bit of a miracle too.
I think I need to write a book now.
Yeah, I think you got to put it all down. What would you call it? I
don't know.
We're sharing a living room.
Sure.
Our universe is our own little universe. No,
We're
my
sharing a
universe and
living
your-
room is a good title.
Okay, we'll just settle
We'll
on
just
that.
set it and not think about it.
No,
again.
but like people often say, like I don't know what the fucking number is, but like 50% of marriages end in divorce, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, and they're like flaunting that as like, why would you get married? Marriage is so stupid. But like the truth of the matter is, what you just said is those two universes sharing a living room is not an easy thing.
Yeah.
Because you have to agree on the rules of the one universe that you both live in, and that can be really hard because obviously your experiences are very different from
Yeah.
different places, and compromise is a huge thing, but like empathy and support is essential to making that universe actually happen and exist.
So I don't know why this ties back into support.
All right, let's take it for a test drive. Let's see how we can get there.
I just need to say
Okay.
that I have gotten so much support from people over the last couple of weeks with this challenge that I've been going through.
Right.
And it's literally been nothing except these people saying, Claire, you're doing a great job. And I'm like, where did they come up with that? You know, like, it's,
How are they basing this?
yeah,
this-
what are they
this
basing that
opinion?
on? They're just like texting me or like a video chatting, and they're like, you're doing great. And I'm like,
How do you know?
how do you know I'm doing great?
Well, first of all, you still have all your hair. It hasn't turned gray.
Well,
You're not weeping.
I actually, no, I didn't cry yet.
You're not weeping all the time. You didn't let me finish.
Sorry.
You know. You're not binge eating. You're still in communication. You're going to work. You're doing all of these things, and with all of that other stuff going on, it's not outrageous to think that some of those things would fall off the edge. I know for myself when I'm dealing with certain stressful situations, first thing I'll do is overeat.
Like I'll just binge eat and then I'll feel awful or I'll oversleep or stuff like that. So I think there is, I don't know if this is the correct term, empirical evidence that lets them know that maybe you are doing all right. And then there's the extra 5% where they want to show you uber support. And so they're like, it's great. Not just, you're not doing a good job, Claire. You're doing a great job. Because also you're doing it. And I think a lot of the times, and I think you probably experienced this too, in the midst of you doing what you're doing, you probably sat there and go, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. And yet you're doing it. So I think you're doing a great job, Claire.
Thank you. It's hard to believe when and that's why, like, when they would say those things to me, I would doubt it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not here. They don't see the mess I'm standing in right now. They don't see how I am on the verge of tears. But them saying that, like, in hindsight, like, actually just gave me like a little extra boost.
Yeah.
It's like Sam saying, I can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Yeah.
Type thing. Because I'm like on
Samwise Gamgee, for those
Yeah.
who don't know. And if you don't know, you probably should be listening to this podcast.
Yeah, probably. Just being like,
I'm just kidding.
however far he carried Frodo up that mountain, which I don't really know how far it was.
I think it was 7 miles.
What?
It's a big mountain.
7 miles?
Okay, maybe not 7
You can't
miles.
even see 7 miles.
Maybe it's a mile and a half
All right,
up.
we'll reference it later when I look at the book. But the point is that the level of support, however small it was, like, brought me like 1 to 5% of a boost.
Right.
Because I was like, maybe I should just believe these people. Stop doubting yourself, because I am my own worst enemy and I am not very supportive to myself.
No, you're the worst.
I'm the worst. The people, maybe I should just believe these people. And the people who are telling me this are people who have also been through fucking some shit lately, you know?
Yeah.
And if they can tell me that I'm doing okay, then maybe I'll just, take their smiling face and put it in front of me as an image to be like, let's keep going.
I totally get it. I mean, my first instinct all the time is to be like, false positivity, toxic positivity. That's not helpful. Lying to people is not helpful. Be realistic so that when you really do say something positive, they know it's the truth, and it's so much more powerful. There's levels to it, right? And within what you're doing, having some positivity to help give you energy is not hurting you at all.
No. And because we're the last ones to tell ourselves we're doing a great job.
Yeah, we're the worst to ourselves.
And if we are
For sure.
telling ourselves we're doing a great job, that's great. But sometimes having our own false positivity could be dangerous. Like,
I have no clue what that is.
think about the president.
Yeah. Don't say it too loud.
Right.
Because we'll get
I
deported.
think he's got some false positivity.
Yeah, because he doesn't think that he can do anything wrong.
So that's the extreme.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I try to tell myself that I'm doing a great job at my job.
Yes.
But it's proven that I do a great job because it's just proven in my success at work.
Yeah.
But that could be dangerous because then that could fluff my ego a little bit,
and then make you complacent.
No, it could make me bossy and like a little bit, like I'm a know-it-all. Maybe I'll be a little bit of a diva. Maybe I'm like,
No.
Yeah, there are other ways I can be a diva other than in the theater.
No.
Yeah.
I don't find you to be a diva in the theater at all. I could see you being a diva at work, though.
Well, my store manager he loves the theater, and he'll be the first one to tell me, like,
Yeah.
if I'm being a certain way. He won't use the word diva, but like I sometimes have to be reminded that I'm like overreacting.
Yes.
And then he'll put like a spin on it, and then we'll laugh it off, and I'm like, oh my God, I did it again.
Yeah, he knows how to work you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes me so mad. But
I don't ever have false positivity at work. I leave some days going, oh, I'm just no good at this, and then other days you're like, oh, I killed that. There was no reason to have success today, and I had success all over the place. So I feel like I'm pretty even keeled
in terms of supporting myself when I'm at work. I also know like the bad days or the days that are struggling are part of the overall picture. But I get a lot of trust from my students. I have kids who come and eat lunch in my room because it feels safe. I'll have kids who, when they're in search of a place to go, will want to come to my classroom. And it's not just because I give them candy, because I don't always give them candy, but I do sometimes give them candy. But I don't always give them candy. But there are days where sometimes I will give them candy. But again, not always. So I think I've earned a certain trust. So I definitely don't think I support myself. But it would be,
What kind of candy?
Sour ropes. That's the big
sour ropes.
That's the big thing, because I got a big container from the Walmart, and so those are easy to hand out. They come up with like 100 or something of them. It used to be Dum Dums, but I haven't bought Dum Dums in a while.
You should get Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, it's probably easier than having the Dum Dum lollipop stick.
Maybe get like a fruit, like a healthy snack.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll put it in my refrigerator.
That was awkward.
In my produce section.
Okay, so
Claire.
I was gonna say like a healthy fruit snack.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Sometimes they'll be like, "Do you have anything to eat, Mister?" And I go, "Like, I got candy. That's not really something to eat." Yeah, sometimes they'll just call me Mister.
I love that you just brought that up, because I remember the teachers' classrooms that I would like go to in school to be like, this is where I want to spend my lunch break. Or like if I had a free period, I'd want to like go to a certain teacher's classroom to like have like be like the teacher's assistant just for that one period.
Yeah.
And like having that one teacher that you feel comfortable with and that you look up to and that you want to spend time with, like, is just like, and then that teacher who accepts you for who you are is huge. The theater director or the music director, the choir director, at my high school, her office had couches, and
That's so nice.
all we did, I mean, there were sometimes like 10 of us in there, like all having lunch and hanging out, free periods, skipping class. Like, and there was I want to say 50% of my social life in high school was in that room.
Yeah.
And it meant so much to me to be able to go there.
To have that, it's a little bit of support in what can feel like a crazy jungle of existence, which is high school.
Couches meant everything.
Yeah. I don't have an office. I just have my classroom. So that's where they come. But
I would love
I
to
used to
spend
go.
lunch in your classroom with you.
Thank you. Yeah, I continue to be funny, just as normally.
Well, I bet
during the day.
they like talk to you about life stuff sometimes, right?
Yes. It's one of my best students, and two of his friends spend their time eating lunch at my room. But I used to go see Nancy.
Oh,
Yeah. And then make her write me late passes
amazing! Love
To go
that.
to other classes.
I had
It's good old fashioned support.
when I had mono in high school. I was out of school for 2 weeks, and I just was taking like 3 AP classes.
Yeah.
And Latin, English, comparative politics. I think that was it. And a couple other stupid classes. And so I had to meet with my teachers when I came back from school to be like, here's what I missed. What's the plan to make it up?
Right.
And my comparative politics teacher, really great guy, a little older, super chill, like your typical like college class type environment.
Yeah.
And I met with him, and we didn't talk about class. We didn't talk about schoolwork. We just talked about life. And I left that session with him feeling a little guilty that I didn't talk to him about my projected assignments. I'm pretty sure I got like a high B in that class for the year. And I missed a lot of work. But the mature conversation we had about life and like philosophy meant so much to me.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to be able to, as a kid at the time, as a teenager, especially after going through this tough time that I went through with my health.
Right.
To be able to have that type of mature support from elders,
Yeah.
older people.
No, let's keep it.
Adults.
Let's keep it in Middle Earth. Elders.
Oh yeah.
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 It's an interesting overall thought when you think about education and where support comes from. There is often a very clear design in what they believe support is, but like when you're in the trenches of it, you know that support comes in some of these little things. And when you're, it's like illness. Do you treat the symptoms or do you treat the whole body? You know, and you have to treat the whole as opposed to just the symptoms. There's just long term.
So interesting that you say that.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually going to start working with a functional medicine doctor,
Okay.
which doesn't take insurance.
Take that. Ugh.
Yeah. But the way that she described how it works is that she was like, I focus on, like, functional medicine focuses on the body as a whole system.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of, it's, you know, modern medicine or
Treat the
conventional
symptoms.
medicine, which is like kind of separates your body into systems.
Yep.
But functional medicine gets to the bottom of it. And, you know, maybe you're going to treat your whole body at once, and that's going to help fix everything.
Yeah. No, my ex was a big proponent of that. There was a holistic bent to the way that she saw things, and she just was always a little bit mistrustful of a doctor who just treats symptoms. But I guess that's just what they do. Speaking of which, I haven't said this to anybody, but like people, if you're not watching The Pit on HBO Max with Noah Wyle as the old doctor as opposed to the young doctor from ER, you're missing out.
All right. I'm so glad you mentioned that because you never said that to me before.
I know. Because it's like in the back of my mind. Oh my God, here's the Pit, and then I catch an episode, and it's like 24 almost. So it's one shift at the ER in Pittsburgh. So each episode is an hour.
That's why it's called The Pit.
Yeah, it's called. Well, they also call the emergency room at I can't remember what the name of the hospital is. They call it The Pit, but it also takes place in Pittsburgh.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it's like Noah Wyle is the grizzled veteran, you know. And I grew up with Noah Wyle as Dr. Carter from ER, the young guy,
Oh.
the intern. Not the intern. Was he an intern? I don't know. Anyways, people should be watching The Pit. It's pretty incredible. It's a little gory too.
Is it, what do they call it? A procedural?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I like that kind of shit. I haven't been watching a lot of TV lately, except last night I started The Days.
Right.
Yeah, it was a good one.
You were in tsunami. You needed tsunami.
I needed some tsunamis.
Yes.
And it's not, and I really wanted to avoid like a real life tsunami story,
Right.
but I found one, and it's sad because it fucking happened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And these
you didn't
poor
want a real
people.
life one, and then you found
And I
a real
got one,
life.
but
Yeah.
I love nuclear power plant catastrophes.
Oh, great. You said that into a microphone, Claire. I just want you to know that.
No, I don't love that they've happened, but I find it so interesting. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah, yeah.
never understood it. Thank God I'm not a nuclear physicist.
Thank God for all of us.
I'd be, but anyway.
Although they're firing them these days, so you know who knows.
Yeah, I mean, no one can keep a job anyway. Jesus.
So yeah, so support The Pit and support what was the name?
The Days.
The Days.
Yep.
All right, you want to get into some of these myths?
Sure.
Okay. Although, did we even like get deep into support? Like before we get there,
stuff.
before we get there, there's a cliche, right? That in support, men like to solve problems, and in support, women just like to be heard. What are your feelings on that? I know every time that I'm trying to support a friend, most of my friends I think are female for the most part, I have to stop myself from trying to solve the problem and just hear them out.
You know, it's interesting because in today's climate, when you say men and women, I start to think about
Totally sexist.
how some people in our government have decided to eliminate other genders.
Yes.
And the gender ambiguity. And I think like, well, why are we focusing on just that? You know, like what about the transgendered men and women? You know, what category do they fall into? Because I have friends who are male at birth and they are gay, and they aren't male typical. I fucking hate to say that, but they're the type of people I would call to be like, I need you to listen right now. And they're like, great, I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
And they're not doing the heterosexual, cis male thing. That's like,
Right.
let's try to solve this.
Right. Well, I mean, it isn't it more even than male, female, just masculine, feminine?
Maybe.
You know, if I think there's a difference to that, and
Sure.
and within masculinity, there's this need to solve and move on.
Okay.
Probably because we don't want to sit in the problem, we don't want to feel the emotion of it, or we're taught to not feel the emotion of it. So we want to put a cap on it, heal this one up, and then
Do you
move
feel like you are like that, or do you also feel like you've got? I feel like you have a strong feminine side
on. I do too.
because
I appreciate that.
you listen and you try to offer support. I've never experienced you trying to like. You're a problem solver, but you're also a listener.
Yeah. Two things. I do think I have a very strong feminine side. I do. I don't know if I'd say often, but maybe half the time think to myself like, how do well maybe you could try this, or maybe and then I silence that voice inside me and just try to reflect. I don't know if that's from being a parent a little bit. I also think that I'm a better listener because I studied improvisation from like the source. So I studied improv with people who studied Viola Spolin, and Spolin like created it, and it was about listening. And so listening is a huge part of how I'm funny, which is like the most important thing in my life, really, is that people think I'm funny. And I know that I'm not funny because I'm a look at me person, which some people can be funny that way. That's just not me. I'm funny because I listen, and I guess the best way to put it is like counterpunch. Like I'll listen to what's going on, and then I'll insert something that I think is funny based upon what's being said. So I think I'm a natural born listener because of that.
It's a gift, really.
Thank you.
I
But I also like I want to be reliable. I want to be of service to my friends. I think like how I can care for them the best is being in service to them when they need it the most, whether it is a laugh when things are down, whether it's just a check-in to make sure that they're okay, or whether they need to unload, unburden themselves.
And that's why, there were 2 times this week that I tried to call you and it didn't work out for whatever technical
I just
reasons.
don't think that there's any evidence of that.
There is. It's on my phone.
Oh, well, my phone doesn't seem to have any of that.
Anyway, I had a little technical difficulty.
We had to FaceTime.
Yeah. So anyway, there were 2 times this week that I needed you specifically.
Yeah.
Because I thought, I was like, who can I talk to and who's going to provide me the most support in this situation?
Right.
One was a little bit more emotionally heavy than the other. The other was just like, give me all the movies with the tidal waves in them.
I need a tsunami movie.
But no, I'm just thinking about like my manager at work and how he is certainly a problem solver, and maybe he's not the best emotional listener, but when it comes to helping me with my job, he's very good at supporting me.
Right.
And like I'll go to him with a problem and I cannot make sense of it. I can't even explain it properly, or I'm coming at it with all types of words and problems and this and that. And he can take what I'm saying and he can just simplify it. And then he's like, here's where you can start, Claire.
Right.
He's like, let's go back to the bare bones. And then, he's like, can I help you? Like, he's like, first of all, you did this. This was your first mistake. Or and it's taken a lot of maturity for me to accept the fact that I've made mistakes.
Yeah.
And
I
have to
don't believe it
listen.
for a second, Claire. Don't believe it for a second. No mistakes, Claire. That's what we call you around the locker room.
I know.
I don't know what that means, where the locker room is.
Anybody.
Um,
But yes, he has a very strong masculine effect on that.
right.
Like,
but he's also solving the problem, it sounds like.
he helps me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like he's, especially for work too, it's result oriented.
Yeah.
So he may listen, but the overall his focus is to have a result.
Right. He's listening and he's calculating.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes that I don't want to go to him because I know that he's gonna give me an answer, and I'm
Right.
like, I just want to figure this one out on my
I
own.
just want to play with it. All right. So some of the myths. Seeking support is a sign of weakness.
No.
Yeah, asking for help shows a strength and self-awareness. It's healthy. It's a healthy way to cope with challenges. Yeah, I think I think the masculine part of me definitely struggles when it comes to directions. Like, I'll never ask for help that way. I'm also not a big person who asks for help.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do have my own therapy, so I think I have that, but it's hard for me to ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is.
I'd rather
hard
just
for
put
us.
my head down.
That's
and,
because we're empaths, and we think that we know how other people are going to respond to our request for help.
Yeah.
So we're like, I'm not going to bother them.
So I just, according to this, we're both weak.
Okay.
Because asking for help should be strength. Support is always about giving advice. No, I think we just kind of covered that. Sometimes it's really just about listening. Support often involves listening, empathizing, and being present rather than providing solutions. Yep, we just did that, myths. You have to be strong and self-sufficient. It's the anti-sport.
Can't. Rome wasn't built in a day.
I don't know what that means.
It means.
No, you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Takes a
it takes
community to
time.
raise
Yeah.
a child. That type of stuff.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Oh, jeez.
I say that far too often.
What
How often do you think about the Roman Empire? Like, all the time.
There was something I had a comparison the other day where I was like, I think about this more than I think about the Roman Empire, and I can't remember what it was.
Is it Star Wars?
No, but as you were saying that, and my brain was going, well, you do. Star Wars enters your life every day, for sure, in some way or another. So maybe it was, but I don't think so. I think it was something else. Support from friends and family is enough. I spent
start.
a long time believing that, and I had a very adverse reaction to professional therapy before I understood how powerful it could be. First of all, you can get let down by your friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
They're not always there for you when you need to be. I saw this great video about this guy. He was talking about his friend who was in need. I can't remember who they were and whatever, and their friend was really struggling, and the friend called and said, "Can I talk to you?" And they didn't really connect, and then later found out the friend was really struggling and said, "Well, why didn't you tell me you were really struggling?" And the friend was like, "I thought I did. I thought I reached out." And so they came up with this code, because I guess it's stated that to change somebody's mental state, and I don't know if this is a fact, but this is what I heard. It takes 8 minutes.
Oh, yes. I feel like we...
Did I send this video to you maybe?
I think so.
Yeah, and
Sounds familiar.
So their code is when they really need each other is just to say, do you have 8 minutes?
Yes.
And I think that was really powerful.
Well, and that's why people have safe words.
Yeah.
Which is if you can't explain how you're feeling, but you throw out the safe word, then that means the other person has to pause, and then you figure it out.
Yeah, they would think in Ted Lasso where Ted and his mom had this thing where they have to say Oklahoma, and then they have to report the truth. No singing. There's no. Although you would be surprised how much Ted Lasso goes and touches on musicals. There's a lot of musical talk in there.
Maybe I'll watch it one day.
Unbelievable. It's hurtful to me that you don't even know what I'm referencing.
I mean, after all of the years that we've talked about Ted Lasso, I should probably be able to piece it all together.
Yeah, and yet you will never understand the wonder until you watch it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that maybe one day I'll watch it.
You know what your housewarming gift is going to be? It's going to be a subscription to Apple Plus.
That's not a bad housewarming. You know, it's not a physical thing.
Yes, no, you got space for it.
I got space for it. If I get enough internet.
Are you getting a TV?
I am getting a TV.
Because I was going to give you a projector if you didn't have a TV.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I have an extra projector.
I'm going to get a TV.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Well, I'm going to wait until Mercury's out of retrograde. Because you can't buy electronics when Mercury's in retrograde. It fucks with your electronics.
Hey, people, take a note of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't want to fuck with that. So...
Mercury.
Yeah, so I'm waiting like at least... It might be a little late. I mean, I'm moving on a Tuesday. Whatever. I'll figure it out. But I think I'm going to mount the TV.
Okay.
And anyway, don't want to fuck with that while the planets are doing their thing.
You don't want to fuck with a mount. For sure, even though that's not electronics. It's connected to electronics.
Well, we could talk about a projector after this. That's
okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. Maybe for the bedroom, so you just have something that you can shine on the ceiling if you want.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyways, whatever. So they say, like, if you think somebody's lying, you say Oklahoma, and that's their safe word, and then you have to come back with the truth. So Rebecca would say, like, I really love that we have these chats, and he'll go Oklahoma, and goes, that's the worst thing I've ever done.
It's
in my
like
life.
bullshit. It's like that card game. Bullshit.
Yep.
Interesting.
Support is one size fits all. I mean, come on.
What?
These
What
myths.
the fuck is that?
Who believes these myths? Different people need different types of support.
Yes.
I'm just moving on. Once you offer support, you're obligated to continue indefinitely.
No.
You're an endangered servant to support.
Unless you're a therapist.
Right, but then, that's your job. Yeah, the bars on that thing. I sat in it one day, so I made the chair go higher. We're talking about the chair. Claire is looking for the little bar that makes it lower because she's sitting up too high, I think.
Oh, wow, it goes back.
Oh, yeah, it goes back.
Oh, no.
No, you can.
No, I can't. I shouldn't. I found it.
There you go.
Okay, so much better. Sitting
So wait,
cross-legged for 2 hours
makes
me need to stretch my legs.
That is great podcast stuff. Me watching you fiddle with a chair.
This is really good.
You like this?
This is really good.
Yeah. That mic stand works for you. You don't have to move. You're just having a blast. Maybe we should all, man, if you come, you get a chair. That's the secret.
You got to put your time in, though. You got to get tenure.
Yeah. Once you get tenure, you get a chair. Emotional support is less important than practical support.
No, it depends on who you are, though.
Yeah. I mean, look. So I used to go to fat camp, right? And in fat camp when I was a kid, you'd like lose 30 pounds over the summer.
Wow.
And like, because I was like active and all of this stuff. And then usually what would happen is kids like myself would put on a certain amount of weight during the year and then come back and you've plumped back up and then you have to lose the weight again. So I had the physical support of the camp, but never the mental support. So like if I got like a gastric bypass surgery or something like that, it wouldn't have made a difference unless I fixed my head about my eating issues, right? I have to fix my head about my eating issues. Mm-hmm. It can't just be the physical stuff because it will never last. There's no longevity in that.
Right. And there is a mental component to doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But so at the camp, they didn't...
I mean, maybe we had a nutrition class, but not really. It was just about activity.
Because they don't want to overwhelm you when you're there. It's summer camp. I mean, you're active. They're probably feeding you good food. That not
slow down. Calories. Like they're giving you a certain amount of calories.
Okay,
so they're,
but you don't have the opportunity to like go get fast food.
No, all of the bad food that we had, we snuck into camp, and then sold on the black market, the camp black market. the Koza Fatty Nose
Oh
straw.
my God, that's hilarious.
So yeah, one
You got to do that. I mean,
Yeah,
that's at any
that's part of
type
the
of
fun.
camp. I went to a religious camp, and everybody
And
was
you
sneaking
sneak-
around the
you
woods,
sneak-
making out with the boys. You know, the boys and the girls' camps were separate.
Yeah,
So
of course.
what else are you gonna do?
You have to do that. One year, I think I may have said this on the podcast too. My sister hollowed out a Nerf football, filled it with candy, and then put the Nerf piece
Oh,
back
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And although the fact that the football weighed, I don't know, 8 times, 10 times what it should have, you couldn't tell that there was candy in there. It was a really nice job.
You
She
would
did a good
think
job.
that at a camp like that, they would vet the packages.
I think they open them and they
Yeah.
look to make sure, but that's
Well, she must
it.
have done a really good job of sewing it back.
No, it didn't even have to sew because it was Nerf, so it just like kind of sponged back in, so you couldn't see that there was.
How did you know there was candy in there?
First of all, it weighed a gazillion pounds. You know, it was the heaviest Nerf football. You know how sometimes you get a Nerf football and you put it in the pool
Yeah.
and it gets really heavy.
Yeah.
It was like a sopping wet Nerf football.
Wow.
So-
She supported you in a different way.
Yes. Yeah, no, she was very good that way. She used to call us into school too. Like my senior year in high school, we used to go to Thon's like grill. It was like a I don't know, it was like a Winnebago, really, and it was like a diner. We used to go get steak, egg, and cheeses, my friend Dave and I, and then we would go across the street to a payphone and we call my sister who was at home, and we would say, "Can you call us into school?" So she'd call us into. She would pretend to be our moms, you know, and call us in. No, he's got a doctor's appointment, so he won't be there for the last 3 classes of the day. Do it for both me and Dave, and then we sit and wait for the phone.
That's amazing.
For the phone call back, yeah. And then we'd ask her to pack us a bowl and leave it in the house, and we did. And then we would make like, I don't know, 4 boxes of mac and cheese, and then pull all the shades and watch The Secret of Nim, and then fall asleep.
Wow.
And my parents would be like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?"
Wow.
Like, I don't know. They have these huge bowls of mac and cheese.
Those
that
were
aren't
the
eaten.
days.
Yes. Kids, don't do that. That's bad. My kids don't. They have no interest in drugs or drinking or caffeine
Yet.
yet.
Not saying that to threaten you, but it's not
They have
too late.
zero interest in that.
I just learned that my grandmother developed a heavy drinking problem in her 9th decade.
That's the time to do it, though, right?
Except she ended up having to go to the hospital once because they thought she had a stroke. Turns out she had wet brain, which
What is that?
which is your brain deteriorating because of your alcohol consumption. She was in her 80s.
I should have got her on pot. She would have enjoyed that much more.
I mean, she was loopy as it is.
I mean, super loopy then.
So anyway, it could start at any time.
Okay.
But anyway, we won't give up hope for them.
Oh, yeah, there's still time, boys. Still time. Organizations don't need to support employees. They should be self-motivated.
What?
Yeah. I mean, that's... unfortunately, I think too many organizations don't support their employees. You know? What's the whole fucking Bezos thing where he's like, I want my employees to wake up terrified. Like, what kind of asshole does that? Like, he's got enough
America.
money.
That's America for you.
Yeah, it is. The whole capitalism first. And then the dream of America is that I'm going to be one of these rich people. So then poor people or middle class people vote for people who only take care of the rich because they're assuming like they're going to be rich soon. It's so backwards.
And there are so many poor people in this country.
Yes.
And they don't even know. Like, I mean, they just make do.
Yeah.
And their lives could be so much better if someone, I don't know.
If they got a little support, but we're a mess. We're just a mess. We're a huge mess. Anyways, speaking of support, if you need support,
just call the Lastville podcast.
yeah, send us
We'll
send us
chat
an
with
email.
you.
We'll listen.
Yeah.
That's what we will decidedly listen unless you are in need of a solution. And then we'll come up with a solution, right, Claire? No, we'll just listen.
I'm not as solution based.
Yeah,
I'm
but
like-
you can come up with solutions. You've given me solutions.
Have I?
Yeah, you have. Have I? Yes, Roz, you have. All right, so did we cover it all? I think we covered it all.
Barely. I'm just kidding. We did. We touched on it. We dove into some important things.
Yeah. We definitely had a discussion. You talked, and then I talked, and then you talked.
Yeah,
and
we
then,
talked. We had
yeah,
a discussion.
We definitely talked.
Shout out to all my friends who've been supporting me throughout this trying time, and thanks for letting me know that even though I don't believe in myself, you believe in me.
That's very nice. Shout out to all the people who've supported me throughout my life and continue to support me. And those who've decided to not support me anymore, there's nothing I can do for you. Your work is just going to be mediocre. I want to help, but there's nothing I can do to make you less mediocre. You have made your choices, and because you made your choices, mediocre is where you're going to stay. What is that about?
We don't wish you the best. We wish you the mediocre.
Yes, happy mediocreness to you all. Those who are listening aren't mediocre. We love them because they're
quality.
good to us. Yes. All right, we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Last Will podcast. If you like what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe. We can be reached at The Last Will Podcast on Instagram. We are thelastwillpodcast.com. And I believe you can send me an email at mattyoung@thelastwillpodcast.com as well. I think that's how you can reach me. Anyway, if you like what you heard, tell your friends. If not, then just keep quiet about it. We really appreciate your silence if you don't like what we do. But we hope you do. So until next time, onward, forward,